Hey guys, what's going on? Stu here with, I guess, my last video about Critical Ops. I'm not really breaking my promise since this is more of a CSGO video anyway, but here we go. So today I wanted to talk to you guys about how to transition from game to game, Critical Ops to CSGO. Now, I see a lot of people in the Critical Ops community talking about CSGO and CS and how Critical Ops is a much better game than CSGO from both an objective and subjective standpoint, which subjectively, you could be like, yeah, I like it more, but objectively, CSGO has the support, the development team, they have everything that Critical Ops doesn't. And because of that, for those of you on PC who want a more competitive experience, I would recommend transitioning to CSGO. It's just overall a better game for PC to play. Now, this does not deny, or this does not mean that Critical Ops is a bad game, but it is a mobile game primarily, which is why I would recommend playing it on mobile. So, there isn't enough space to grow as a player in Critical Ops, it's not competitive enough, and the skill ceiling is lowered. There's too much RNG in the game. It works for mobile, but not well on PC, and that's why I left the scene. And this is why I play CSGO now. One big thing that people worry about is that CSGO is not free. That is true, but it is on sale most of the time. And if you cannot afford like $3.50 to buy a game, there are plenty of ways you can earn $3.50, like put into your PayPal. I'm gonna link an app called Slidejoy, I think, in the description. Hopefully I remember to do that. It passively plays ads on your phone lock screen. You can make $3.50 in 1 month, right? It's not that hard. It's a very small investment for a lot of hours. I have 600 hours already, still going strong, and I spent, $4 on the game. So in my opinion, even though it costs money, it is worth it. It's a more premium experience. Now, the other cost, which we haven't considered, is that CSGO is a more demanding game to run than Critical Ops, and that is true. But in the scope of things, CSGO is a very easy game to run. If you have anything vaguely resembling a gaming computer, you will be able to run CSGO at above 60 FPS. Now, you could argue about how the number of FPS that you have for CSGO, you need like above 200 because smoother mouse movements or something, but let's just talk in 60s. If you want to play CSGO but your PC can't run it, there's a fix which is called buy a new computer. And I say that, and you're probably thinking, oh, he's so rich, that's not fair, you can't just say that. The reason why I'm saying that is that buying a new computer, building your own computer, for example, for $500, you can make a PC that'll run CSGO at a clean, like 150, 200 frames stuff, right? Nice. And it's a good investment. You get a really nice computer to do other stuff with. I don't use my computer primarily for playing games. I use it mostly for video rendering and 3D editing, right? But I put a PC parts picker link in the description for you guys who are wondering what like a $500 CSGO build would look like. So there you go. Now, there's one more thing that I want to talk to you about. Well, there's a lot of things I want to talk to you about, but I'm going to jump into the game to demonstrate them. One thing that you should keep in your mind if you're transitioning from game to game is that CSGO is different from Critical Ops, and doesn't matter how good you thought you were in Critical Ops or how good you were in Critical Ops, it means nothing in CSGO. And I say that because a lot of the time when I'd play in like pugs in Critical Ops, people would call me a hacker and they call me a cheater and be like, amazing. I'm average, if not below average in CSGO, right? It is a very competitive community, and you might have a rough start, but approach things with an open mind and understand that the steep learning curve is going to make the game. It's going to make it very playable for hours and hours and hours, because there's always something you can do, always something you can play better, always something to beat.
You called me.
So without further ado, let's talk about some differences between the two games. So in Critical Ops, you had recoil patterns. So basically what this means is that when you shoot your gun, it's going to kick. And how this translates into the game is that when you shot, your crosshair would go up, and then maybe to the left, and then maybe to the right. And if you want to control this recoil, basically your goal was just keep your crosshair where you want to keep the bullets going. Now, CSGO is more complex. There's something else you need to learn, and that's called a spray pattern. So, let's just start by observing a spray pattern. Okay, the first thing I want you to note is that my recoil, the gun recoiled only to about here. And just kind of hovered around here. So, if I were to just pull down, let's see what that looks like. Okay, so I kept my crosshair generally in this area for most of the time, but you'll notice that the bullets went around here. And that's because in CSGO you have a spray pattern as well. And basically the spray pattern dictates where bullets will be fired relative to your crosshair during different times in a spray. Now, an easy way to simplify this is that when you shoot, you need to move your crosshair away from the target you're trying to hit the target. And it's kind of counterintuitive, and you need to practice to get the hang of it. So, I haven't warmed up at all, so this is going to be interesting. I don't have great spray. The idea behind it, though, is that you want to try to mimic this pattern. So we're going to pull down, right, left, blah, 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 blah. And we get a nice little spray. It's not perfect. This is not a perfect spray. But you practice this concept and eventually you get better at it. It's a skill which you just kind of build after playing for a long time. It's not something which you just memorize and then it's perfect. You can, but it's going to take some work. In the meantime, two things that'll be a lot easier for you is tapping or going for like 3-round, 5-round bursts. So like maybe you can go, you know, you fire some shots and the first couple bullets are all just straight down. So you'll be able to translate that pretty easily from Critical Ops to CSGO. The rest of the spray is going to need some work, but that'll come in time. Just realize that all-out spraying is not always the best method for killing an enemy, and you're going to need to be a little bit flexible. Now the second method, which I guess relates to tapping a little bit, is counter-strafing. So let's change my crosshair. Ooh, style. What's a movement? In Critical Ops, you could run and gun. Basically, you were about this accurate while you were moving. In CSGO, this is not the case. Well, it depends on the guns. Some guns are accurate, some guns aren't accurate. But a general rule of thumb is that you are more accurate when you are standing still and crouching than you are when you are jumping around. Which goes for anything, but especially in this game, you can tell that you are very not accurate. In Critical Ops, you get away with something like to spray this. I didn't even get close to this area. In CSGO, you're going to have to move out and counter-strafe. So what counter-strafing is, really quickly, when you move side to side, this is hard to see. When you move side to side, you'll notice that there's a brief second when I'm moving, when I'm strafing left and right, that when I strafe in the opposite direction, right here, my crosshair is perfectly accurate. And it's at that point that you're going to want to be shooting your bullets. Now, I'm not really great at this, I'll be honest. It's like a muscle memory type thing, and that comes after like practicing and playing more, and I haven't played for 2 weeks as of recording this right now. But that's another concept which you're going to want to get under your belt pretty quickly. The reason why this is important is that in a lot of longer range fights, if I have to fight someone here, yeah, I'm not going to be able to take a spray deal with him. But if I do this, you know, I have a better chance of winning this duel because I'm moving left and right, makes me a harder target to hit. I'm tapping, I'm counter-strafing, so I'm accurate at certain points when I'm moving. It's a rhythm that you'll fall into. Practice that one as well. Third one, not really something that you need to get used to, but voice comms and communication with your team is important. Try to stay on good terms, try to have a microphone, be nice. If you mess up, don't try to argue. Like, if you feel like you're in the right, but a more experienced player who is probably better than you is telling you that you did something wrong, if they're not being a dick about it, just try to accept like the criticism, like, okay, I understand, you know, I guess that's how it is. I'll take that piece of advice he gives me and I'll work on that, you know. Getting salty in this game, especially because this game is very heavy, the more competitive you get, it's not about individual skill, and it's more about how you work together as a team. So working with your team is very important, and in Critical Ops you can get away with just playing solo because of, I guess, the way that like public servers worked. If I would summarize into that, that's just kind of the nature of the community. In CSGO, you're going to have to work as a team. One last thing that I forgot to mention is that looking at tutorials of pro players is going to be really useful. Look at Steel's videos. He's an ex-pro. He has a lot of videos that are various concepts. He goes into great detail. I recommend watching those if you have questions with certain concepts. So, that's that as well. I wouldn't learn from me. I'm really not that great a person to learn from. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is Rhubarb Stew. Keep on cooking.